Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and otherwise, and how these affect us or impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, outrage over presence of Reno, others on ambassadors list. And the other topic will be a big task for General Christopher Musa as more than 7,000 Nigerians suffer in terrorist scams. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and give a question. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade Ototoju. Good to see you. Good evening, BQ.
Good evening, Ibrahim. I want to say a big thank you to Issues with Jide fan Alwan Hassan, who delivered a brand new Apple tablet to me. Having noticed that I was using my phone for this program and people and the habit of calling me during the program. So with this tablet that Alwan Hassan sent all the way from Abuja to Lagos, we can lock away those who choose the time for our program to be harassing me with calls.
The pesky calls always coming in.
Yeah, so it feels good to do this with you with a brand new tablet.
Amazing. We say special thanks to Mr. Musa, yeah? I hope I got the name right. Alwan Hassan. We say special thanks to you. We really appreciate, for the kind gesture and the love that you have for Issues with Jide and indeed BKO and the entire crew at large. Thank you so much. As you will say, Mario. Right. Right, let's get down to brass tacks. Given Nigeria's diplomatic history and political nature of non-career ambassadorial appointments, some argue that, including outspoken public figures like Reno Omokri, can work to Nigeria's advantage, perhaps by giving us more visibility or a stronger voice abroad. And we also have the nomination of Mahmoud Yakubu, immediate INEC past chairman. And people were also of the opinion, if we knew that these are the people we were going to put there, why did the list take that long before we appoint them?
Honestly, I wasn't happy myself that it took this long to put the ambassadorial list together. Donald Trump has done a few things for Nigeria. His complaints about the killing of Christians, although we disagree that it's only Christians being killed, his complaint has energized our war against terror and energized our war against banditry. At least it has put banditry, abduction of innocent Nigerians, and killing of innocent Nigerians on the front burner. So if you wouldn't praise Donald Trump for anything, at least the fact that this issue of the mindless killing of innocent, hapless Nigerians has been put on the front burner, and he has put our government on his toes. You had the Senate President saying the other day that Donald Trump is on our neck when a senator demanded for General Musa to simply bow and go. At least we needed to show the world that that is not our character, that we are on a very serious matter like security, that we were prepared to put, to scrutinize the defense minister designate. So that's that. Now, the ambassadorial lists have come. But like every major step that the government takes, it has come with its fair share of controversy. A nominee from Yobe State was found to have passed away, was discovered to be somebody who had passed away since July this year, which means the president's people didn't do a thorough job. I saw this sort of thing happen during the Buhari regime, but there's no reason for mistakes made during the Buhari regime to be repeated in this dispensation. It makes no sense at all. So there was no reason for somebody who had died about 6 months ago to be on the list of ambassadorial nominees. We've had people like Senator Ndume say that the list did not reflect federal character as enshrined under Section 14, subsection 3 of our Constitution. And as far as it's concerned, the president should withdraw that list and come up with a fresh list. I disagree that because there are issues with a few names on the list, the entire list should be withdrawn. This was the same position that I took when we had the debate over the new tax reform bill. Of course, other people disagreed, and the president said no, that he was not going to withdraw the tax bill, but that Nigerians should feel free to condemn whatever they felt was bad about the bill. Invariably, the House of Reps did a thorough job of scrutinizing that tax bill, and today we have a brand new tax law that will kick into effect in January, and everyone was happy in the end. Those who are unhappy, their concerns were looked into, and invariably, the two chambers of the National Assembly had concurrence on that matter, and the issues were thoroughly addressed, and there was consensus in the end, and that controversy has been put to bed. So I disagree with Senator Ndume that the list should be withdrawn, but the representatives of the Nigerian people, the Senate and the House of Reps, are empowered to reject whoever they believe shouldn't be on that list. It doesn't matter whether that person has been cleared by the DSS or not. They have the power to reject anyone that the president has put on that list, because as we have seen, the president is not perfect. The aides who work with him are not perfect. They can make mistakes, as we saw with the list of people that the president pardoned the other day. It was clear that the aides of the president, the Attorney General of the Federation, dropped the ball. The president had to listen to Nigerians, and he made amends on that list that had some premium grade criminals, given some form of reprieve, which, if it had been allowed to, if it had been formalized, would have even put the lives of some security operatives, especially the NDLA operatives, at risk. So I believe that the National Assembly should do its job. If they do not think that anyone on that list is worthy of being on that list, they should remove the person, and so that we can then have the people who are competent, who are good enough, based on the judgment of the National Assembly, allowed to go and start their work as ambassadors. I think that the matter, the ambassadorial list came in 3 batches of 3, 32, and 65. I don't know if there are still some countries that we have not taken care of. Maybe there are still some ambassadorial positions that need to be filled. If that is true, then the matter of non-adherence to the federal character principle can still be addressed in future. So if the list is long, it came more than 2 years after the president's inauguration, but it's better to be late than never. Many people agree that if we had an ambassador in the US, some of the problems that we are facing with the Americans will probably not have been aggravated, as we have seen. So I agree that an ambassador is the representative of his country. And an ambassador is treated very much like the president of that country and given the prestige that the president deserves. I also agree that no single person can embody all the ideals that we want to see in a person. So there's nobody that is perfect. That one is clear. And just as one of the presidential aides said, the president was not looking for perfect people. He was looking for people who are brilliant, who can represent the country. So he was not actually looking at perfect people. But when you look at this list, 3 persons stand out, or I can say 4 persons stand out in the reckoning of Nigerians that they shouldn't be on the list. The former NIA man, okay, or is he okay? Mahmoud Yakubu, the former INEC chairman, Femi Fani-Kayode, who recently won his corruption case after about 10 years against the EFCC, and Reno Omokri, a man who once called the president a drug baron, but who lately has been praising the president to high heavens. In the case of Mahmoud Yakubu, no one can say that he is not qualified academically. He recorded a first-class degree in history from the University of Sokoto, now known as Usman Dan Fodio University. Then he got his master's in international relations from Wolfson College, Cambridge. Then his doctorate degree in Nigerian history was secured from the University of Oxford. No one would say that that person is not qualified. But Nigerians felt that when you give Yakubu this kind of appointment, many Nigerians believe that it is reward for helping, in inverted commas, the APC to win the presidential election. I still read people saying that that presidential election is the worst in Nigerian history. Yet, I do not know whether some of the people saying this witnessed the 1983 election or even witnessed the 2003 election, where in Ogun State, for example, the number, the votes recorded actually exceeded the number of registered voters. Only into this republic, they used to simply write results. We didn't have card reader, we didn't have beavers. There was no electronic or biometric means of determining who should vote and who should not vote. I think that those who say that the last presidential election, where the APC, the ruling party, lost at least 10 states where it had governors, are not saying the truth. Perhaps they are more concerned about the fact that the party that they didn't expect to win or the individual they didn't expect to win won. But you cannot say with concrete facts that that election was the worst in our history. If you are saying that, it means you know next to nothing about Nigerian history. So that's that. I also do not agree that the president should have put Mahmoud Yakubu on that list. Because for me, putting him on the list would generate a lot of controversy. They should have expected that. That people will say, oh, it was given that ambassadorial posting as reward for rigging the election for the parties. And that's what people are saying. But sometimes leaders want to take their own decision. And President Tinubu said during the media chat that you've given me a job to do. Let me do it the best way that I can. So in some of these instances, he will simply want to follow his mind. And in giving Professor Yakubu that job, the president felt he was doing the right thing. But many Nigerians felt they shouldn't have given him that job. Then we come to Femi Fani-Kayode. Many do not like Femi Fani-Kayode because of his controversial nature, the kind of comments he makes. Some even see him as an ethnic jingoist. They see him as petty. They do not like the way he speaks. And the way he speaks in public, as far as they are concerned, shows that he does not deserve to be made an ambassador. And the role of an ambassador is clear. He is the representative of his country. He promotes, it defends the nationals of his country. He promotes trade and cultural exchange with the host country. He reports on political and economic development in the host country to the president of our country. He is like a sovereign of sorts because he gets the privileges that the president should get. So they do not think that Femi Fani-Kayode should be on that list, because some of them even accuse him of jumping from one political party to another. But in fairness to Femi Fani-Kayode, he's not the only politician who has jumped from one party to another. Some of the biggest politicians in our country are known to have jumped from one party to another. But the person who stays in a party forever is not necessarily a better person than the one who saw the need to leave a party for another party. And no matter how they describe it, he has not moved around up to 3 or 4 parties. We are talking about 2 political parties now. So they see him as someone who is unstable, who should not be made an ambassador. Again, the president reserves the right to keep or drop an ambassador that he believes is not doing the job that he was given. So even if Femi Fani-Kayode gets cleared by the National Assembly, because he believes that having defeated the EFCC, no one can call him corrupt. At least the court has freed him, and is in no case of mission succeeded. So again, the National Assembly reserves the right to drop him or to keep him. So we'll leave the job to the National Assembly. In the case of Reno Omokri, Reno Omokri has said some of the worst things about this president. He called him a drug baron, and he even claimed, even dared the president to take him to court. That was prepared to meet the president in court. Now, what people are saying is that rewarding a man who abused the president without restraint looks like giving him a job so that he can stop abusing the president, so that the president can buy his loyalty. That is what people say. And with Sowore being tried by the DSS for saying something similar, in fact, many people believe that what Reno said about the president was bigger than, in terms of the damage, was bigger than what Sowore said. Because Reno didn't say that just once. And they are saying that if Reno is deemed fit and proper to be an ambassador, then how do you argue Sowore's case in court? How do you argue Sowore's case in court? If you didn't think that Reno had done something significant enough and you are rewarding him with an ambassadorial nomination. Yes, Reno came back and said he discovered that the president actually went to Chicago State University. But he cannot blot out some of the terrible things that he had said about our president. And there are those who argue that, oh, they gave him that thing so that he does not even produce some of the so-called evidence that he claimed that he has. Only the president can explain why he gave Reno this position. I know that even in his own political party, where there is a reluctance to openly criticize the president, many people are angry with the choice of Reno Omokri. And they are saying, look, there are so many brilliant people in our country. There are alternatives to some of the people on that list, especially some governors who didn't do quite well, who didn't perform quite well as governors in their states. They've also been rewarded. So people are saying that such people should have been replaced with competent Nigerians who do not have the baggage, who do not have the kind of history about them that we are talking about. So Nigerians are looking forward to the screening of these individuals by the Senate committee that is mandated to do that. Will Reno survive? Will the president simply give some of them something else? Because the argument of some of the people that I spoke with is that, yes, you can reward people with political appointments. You can give jobs to the boys. But that ambassadorial appointments shouldn't be, ambassadorial nomination or appointment shouldn't be what you simply give anybody. And that some of the people on that list do not deserve to be made ambassadors. I disagree with people who have come up to attack the NIA man, because he was never found guilty of corruption. In fact, what happened to him, in my view, was simply a setup. And I go back to what the then National Security Advisor wrote about him. Even the money that was kept in that building, according to the National Security Advisor at the time, Monguno, General Monguno, he had permission to keep that money for a project. The NSA had written about that even before that whole problem began.
That's
Because
right,
some
because
Nigerians are seeing him as corrupt. You cannot call someone corrupt when no court has adjudged him a thief or a corrupt person. You cannot legally just brand somebody a corrupt person. So I still remember that matter very well. The man, in my view, was set up because some people needed that position. They wanted to put somebody in that position.
That's right.
And
That's right.
eventually, they had him removed and put somebody, I think, from Casina. So some of the politics we may not know, we may not have the full range of events leading to the way Oke was treated. But I do not subscribe to people saying he shouldn't have been given that appointment. So it's just a few individuals, really, that Nigerians have issues with. But
That's right.
because of a few, you hear people saying, oh, that's a useless list, it's a list full of clowns and all that. You cannot say the list is full of clowns because a good number of them are even career ambassadors. You know?
All right, Vicky. Let me take some comments. We're actually far going into the time. Nelson Adufe says, our president is human, hence could make few errors. However, his ability to make amendments on the list of nominees is high level of transparency. Akim Bola Oluseyi says, good evening, Ibrahim and Vikio. Irrespective of some people nominated for ambassadors that are not supposed to be there, there are some good people, good ones among them with dignity. Obi Matthew says, Judy, I really appreciate your informed submissions about national issues. And Lawal Kadri says, Egbonjide, when are you coming to US precisely? California, Los Angeles. Yeah. Okay, maybe when Trump has said he's not coming to Nigeria. I want to hope so. No one wants to go to a country where they have an erratic president. I'm just kidding. Let me take other comments. If Adaora Nwokolo says, if competence is what we are after, Reno is actually more globally connected than half the people shouting. Diplomacy needs visibility, not anonymous faces. Michael Uzoaru says, how do you preach unity and then nominate divisive online personalities? Diplomacy is not Twitter. It requires calm heads. And then Kunle Hassan says, the outrage is emotional. But the question is, what does Nigeria gain or lose from these appointments? That's the real issue. All right, because of our time. On the security front, with reports that over 7,000 Nigerians are currently being held in terrorist camps, the pressure on General Christopher Musa